Okay, let's start. I cannot hear myself, but I can get it. So welcome to a Blue Bio Value workshop. So we'll be focused on challenges and opportunity for startups. Thank you. In the blue economy, and we will focus on what Blue Bio Value helped. So with us we have seven amazing startups that did the program and are looking to Portugal. And we also have the word of the two foundations that are supporting this program. So Blue Ocean Foundation and Carlos Gulbenkian Foundation. And we'll also look into a video that will show us what the program is all about. So to start, I'll ask Filipe Saldanha from Carlos Gulbenkian Foundation just to give us a short note on why the foundation is supporting this and why are we here.
So, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. As some of you already know, the Blue Bio Value is an initiative promoted by the Ocean Azul Foundation and the Carlos Gulbenkian Foundation. We started this impactful collaboration in 2018, mainly because we share a common vision regarding sustainable development. Among many others, we believe that blue bioeconomy and this community in particular can help us decarbonize our society, reduce resource scarcity, while at the same time adding high economic value and creating jobs. So during the last 4 years, we together with the Ocean Azul Foundation have helped almost 50 startups from 19 countries to grow in the market and to raise public and private capital. The path taken so far was really helpful to attract the investor community and also to attract dozens of labs and research centers in this area. All of this is done with collaboration with two excellent partners. The Bluebio Alliance, of course, who has the scientific know-how, and of course Maze Impact, who has all the business know-how. We are proud of what we have achieved so far, but we are humble and very much committed to go further. So this event will help us identify more challenges and opportunities in the blue biotech markets, which also enable us to grow our ambitions in the future. So a special thanks to the Bluebio Alliance for organizing this event, and of course to all the BBV Blue Bio Value startups. Thank you very much and enjoy.
Thank you, Filipe. So let's look at a very short video. So what's the program about?
Is your startup impacting the blue economy of the future? The Blue Bio Value Accelerator program is for you.
The Blue Bio Value is helping us understanding what the future can look like, the passion to do business in a different way.
We are looking for innovative solutions in the food and feed supply, human health and well-being, industrial technologies, environmental health.
Ocean-based technology can represent a huge opportunity. We can find solutions that enable us to consume fewer of the planet's natural resources.
A place to learn and grow.
It was a big learning for us.
In the Blue Bio Value Accelerator, you have the opportunity to scale your business and take part in the only blue biotech accelerator in the world. We believe in ideas as powerful as the ocean.
Okay, so as I said, so we have seven startups with us that are doing their business, are rocking the world and saving the oceans at the same time. And we will focus on why Portugal, what are the bottlenecks, what struggles do they have, and how BBV helped solving those programs. So what I'll ask to you shortly in 1 minute time, and you have the time there, is to present yourselves, try to present your startup as best as you can, so we can all know you and start the discussion. So Refix.
Thank you. I am Raúl, the founder of Refix, and we produce a natural and organic recovery drink made with 20% of seawater. Why? Because seawater has the same mineral salts that the blood, that the body plasma, but in a huge concentration. So if you mix fresh water with seawater at 20%, you can have the exactly copy of your body plasma. So it's the perfect isotonic drink. And then we add a little bit of lemon juice. So it tastes really good, and it's with sugar-free and organic, and that's what we do. It's 1 minute yet? No. And we extract the seawater in a natural protected area with the best seawater quality in all the Europe coastline. It's okay, no?
Hi, my name is Tiago Cristóvão. I'm the CEO of Undersea. We provide sea forecasts for aquaculture companies. Our objective is to bring more predictability to a quite risky business. We started in 2016, and we are currently expanding our operations to Norway.
Hello, good morning. My name is João Rito, one of the founders of Scientia. Scientia is a new aquaculture startup from Portugal. What we do is we want to improve sustainability in seafood production, specifically in our case, Corvina. So we are implementing a recirculation aquaculture system that allows us to improve the animal welfare without using any antibiotics or other chemicals. So we will not contaminate the food, neither the ocean water. Thank you.
Hello, I'm James Lander, co-founder at AlgaeSys, and we basically are focusing on providing highly affordable circular solutions to deliver water, food and energy security for many smaller communities around the world. Basically, we are recycling wastewater to produce high-quality reusable water for industry, for aquaculture, for local communities in water-stressed and coastal areas. We're also net energy positive. We produce more energy than we actually consume, and we are a decarbonized solution.
Hello everyone. My name is Carlos, CEO and co-founder of Flexi. We're based in London, and we are a company developing a biomaterial to replace single-use flexible plastic packaging. We started about 2 years ago, and we're currently working in our laboratories with our prototypes and improving on those to actually be able to make this a reality and make plastic a thing of the past.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Anne Ruddy from Red Rose Development based in Ireland. I joined the Blue Value Bio 2 years ago, and we're all about seaweed, macroalgae, from cultivation, making it accessible to fishing communities, to processing it to increasing the value. Although this does look like a urine sample, it's actually seaweed. It is the very definition of the sea weeing. We take all the value from breaking up the cellular structure, creating a value chain which benefits local communities, fishing communities, and supplies food, feed, fertilizer, and so much more. So macroalgae, the way to go.
So thank you to you all. As you could see, we have startups with different levels of maturities. Some RIFIX you are selling already, some are still on development phase, others are growing their technology. So let's try to find common troubleshooting or common bottlenecks in the process. So the first question to you all is, what would be the bottleneck you identify as the hardest one when you started? And I'll start for you, Anne.
Yes, for me it's all about trying to convey my vision as to what is needed and get the support, be it financial in terms of resources, and certainly in working with Blue Bio Value, it helped me to identify and articulate what I needed. But for me the bottleneck is at the moment very much financial and funding.
So money, right? So is that the same for you?
Well, definitely. I think money is an issue for everyone. If you want to start something and try and build it, it's obviously expensive. In our specific case, research is pretty much capex expensive. So especially when it comes to convincing investors, which are used to working with software, a lot of the investors and VCs come from the fintech background, especially trying to convince them that they need to invest into laboratory machinery that eventually will devalue but will deliver a product in the future. Hopefully, that's what we're there for. It's something hard to achieve. And for us specifically also, another bottleneck has to do with legislation, especially in biomaterials and plastic. What is a plastic? What is a biomaterial? And see how the actors doing this legislation can bring this forward and actually change it for the better in the future.
I would like to just take the issues further previously mentioned about funding. For example, there's plenty of money out there, venture capital and so on. That seems to be coming and going, is it? Yeah. Is that better? Yes, that seems to be better. So, so there's plenty of money out there, lots of venture capital organizations, and you hear this, oh, well, we have a 200 million fund for environmental projects, but so far we've only been able to disseminate 6 or 7 million of that. Now that's crazy. But why? Why? Is it just because they're highly risk adverse? It's actually because very often our customers, certainly in our segment, which is water and wastewater, very often we're dealing with municipalities, government organizations, and they're very conservative and very risk adverse when it comes to new technologies and innovation and being the first to take the step. So the reason why these venture capital organizations often do not want to part with their money for certainly our segment is because they believe it will take us a long time to get to our first customer revenues.
So basically, well, I'm also experienced microphone problems, so it's just not here. So it's basically money, the type of money and de-risking for the first prototype so far. João, what's your take?
So basically, yeah, let's focus on money again. Money is always going to be the problem for sure, but yeah, like James just said, there's a lot of money out there, definitely, but it's not a lot of money to be put on pre-seed development of new aquaculture startups. So new startups, especially in the blue economy. Blue economy usually is associated with the fact that you need quite huge investments and long-term investments as well, so you don't have the return of investment quite fast, but people are not used to look at also the environmental and the social part associated to what comes with the development of these startups. So it's basically the focus not only for investors, not only on the outcome, on the return of investment, but also the return on all the other things that are coming with the development of these companies. So there should be much more money focused on pre-seed development, knowing already that a lot of them are not going to be going forward. So most of the companies are going to fail, but they need to fail for others to succeed. So I would say that. And also, let me just add the fact that, especially, well, I can talk for me. I'm a biologist. I'm coming from the scientific background, so I was not used to deal with the businesses at all. So having the possibility of learning with the acceleration programs and also the networking that this kind of events allows us to do is also very important, because people that have the money do not going to put the money on people that don't know how to manage the money. So it's also very important to be aware of that.
So basically you're settled the ground to discuss BBV afterwards. So Tiago, what's your take?
So I definitely agree with the money issue. I think the first bottleneck that we had, and I think BBV will help us, is that I come from a very technical side. I'm a mechanical engineer. All of our team are. We did not have the financial background and not the business background. So we definitely had the capability of executing, but we didn't know yet a lot about who would be our target market, who would be our final clients, how we're going to address them, are we going to go through distributors or selling directly to them. All of these steps we thought we had in mind, but in fact we didn't. And so I think the acceleration program will help us with that, and that indirectly help us with funds, raising funds, because you cannot raise without explicitly saying how you are going to create revenue. So I think BBV helped us on that. In 2018, we did not have our segmented market very well defined, and now and after it we had. So I think that would be our main bottleneck, and that BBV really helped us out.
And of course, the lack of money is a problem for us, because to introduce a product like this, for example, in Spain, we need at least 1 million euros only to introduce in the big supermarkets. But also, a very innovative products like that is very complicated to convince to the buyer decisions, no? So you need to push them years and years and years. So we have been working 5 years since the beginning, and you need to have money to survive these years, and also you need to have a lot of patience, no? So this is what we need.
So, being money the first bottleneck or the first you identified, and having us in Portugal more and more dynamic on the startup on these areas, and having us seeing that investors are attracted by those dynamics. The question is, how do you see Portugal? How you position yourselves in Portugal? Do you interact with others players in the system? How is your soft landing for those outside and for those in Portugal? How has it been the soft landing here in Portugal? And
well, certainly the energy in Portugal and the enthusiasm at political level has been quite significant. In Ireland, I have very much easy access to the politics, for legislation. It's a soft landing in Ireland, whereas it's not quite in place here, for me anyway, in Portugal. But the way I would see going forward, because I got so much from the accelerator, I would like to have a partnership in Portugal and to work and develop with collaborators in the area and to develop further. But there's certainly an energy here which is lacking in some other places.
Yes, just to build on this, I totally agree. I think it's a fact that Portugal has a very large coastline compared to its global surface area and has a huge maritime economic area. And I think it is a country that truly understands the potential of this that not many other countries have, to be honest. So coming here and realizing that it is a country that is looking towards exploiting the potential of its oceans, of its coastline, and of the blue bioeconomy definitely helps. And of course, there are special funds as well, which can be used in this country, which you would not find in any other country, because again, they have the ocean and understand it.
We've actually found that following our attendance on the BBA Blue Bio Value course, we actually set up shop here, so we're registered in Portugal, and we've actually found that it has a very supportive ecosystem, not just through the BBA partners, but beyond. And we have actually been outsourcing a lot of our fabrication of our demonstrators and early plants to companies across Portugal, along with a recruitment strategy that reflects that. Ultimately, because for us in wastewater, the Portuguese market per se is relatively small, but we do see basically as Portugal as an excellent base for an export market across the world, and that is our objective. So we are very grateful to the Blue Bio Value program for actually directing us to this, and it is one of the easier countries in the EU to do business in our sector, so we really appreciate that.
Well, I'm Portuguese, so I decided to set up my company in Portugal. That was clear to me.
Well, you and Tiago, you are Portuguese, so the question is, besides interacting with other Portuguese actors, the question is, how do you see investors looking into this new dynamic? So both of you raise money here, both of you have installations and setup here. The question is, are you seeing a new dynamic coming here?
Yes, I was going to evolve to that side. Definitely yes. Especially in the last 5 to 6 years, I think a lot of events has been happening in Portugal. So look around. We have the United Nations Ocean Conference in Portugal, the second one happening since ever. Yes, what I feel is that, like you just said, people are looking more, especially we are attracting investment from other countries, not only from Portugal, but also that attractiveness from investment from other countries also raised awareness from the investors inside the country as well, to start raising some funds specifically directed to the blue economy. And that happens with some of the funds that you know. Blue Fund, also the government is been looking around to try to set up these funds available for these new startups to be implemented in Portugal, which is, I think, it's obviously a good opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. We raised money in Norway, and we are currently raising another round at the moment. And I think that Portugal in the last years made a huge difference regarding what we saw back then, which was more like you said before, coming from fintech or coming from software-based VCs. I think they are more open to this kind of industry. And still, I think, as the Blue Fund is now opening, I think Portugal is taking the right steps on the right direction.
If I compare Portugal with Spain, we have found more interest in Portugal than in Spain in all kind of business, in the supermarkets, all kind of segments. Also, we found investors in Portugal, not in Spain. Most of the investors are living in Portugal, that's true. And for example, we want to test our product for the hangover because the mitochondria works faster when you drink seawater, because seawater has a lot of mineral salts. So we can decrease the percentage of alcohol if you are drunk. And we didn't find any university in Spain that wanted to work with this study because they say that work with alcohol is not good for the communication or whatever, a lot of problems. And in Portugal, we found it at the first time.
So what I take from these 2 points is that we have a lot of investors in Portugal. There are a lot of investors coming into Portugal, but still, the main problem is still money. So it is a question of technologies not being ready. It's a question of investors not taking the risk. What you take on that very shortly, because you are rushing on time. And I will ask you also to add up how BBV helped on that de-risking facing the investors. Okay, and shortly, because we are running out of time.
Right, very quickly. I think a lot of it is a language barrier. I'm not talking about inter-country language barrier, but I'm talking about the investors speak a different language to that of the innovators, who speak a different language to that of the scientists. So we need to have an interpretation, and this is where BBV helped, because they provided that translation for the different sectors.
There's definitely an issue of not being enough money at the very early stage when the technology is not ready and investors looking for more validation. But then again, it's a vicious circle because you will never have a ready technology without the money input. And I think BBV really helps you because it puts you in contact with a lot of actors and a lot of research centers such as CIMAR who can actually help you to get along that very initial transition to a very V1 of your technology where you can demonstrate more to the investors and get that extra push to actually manage to get some funding.
Yeah, I think Blue BioValue basically encouraged us to get out of our shells and look at it from the outside perspective. So change our technobabble, as it were, into a narrative that was accessible to investors and to other stakeholders, many of whom are not in the industry and aren't even necessarily the direct beneficiary or the direct buyer of our technology, but the immediate beneficiary. And so really having a group of people who are in sufficiently close but further away in order to validate your narrative, your approach, your models, and so on was so important before going into, if you like, the in front of the real investors. So it was very valuable sort of peer review.
Thank you. Blue BioValue, played a very big role, very crucial role in the fact in what I just told before, which is learning what is real business, and that's exactly what Anja said. Well, we were not talking the same language as investors were. So we had to learn what are they talking about. They had to learn what are we talking about. We had to commit ourselves to match these two languages, and Blue Bio Value helped us learn this new world out there, which is okay. Let's talk about money, but how to apply it? How can we actually make good use of that? Especially in our case for the ocean, for the good of the oceans and the environment. And that's what I actually found back in 2018 when the first edition happened. I got to know that I did nothing about business before that. And also, not only that, but also the networking, the amount of companies that you know around you that are doing the same things that you want to do. Partnering with everyone around, not only companies, the startups, the investors, the entities, also the governmental entities are really a plus on this. And if you do not do that, you are not going to go anywhere, for sure.
I think the startup scene in the blue environment will definitely gain a lot when we have the first startups that were born 5-10 years ago start to exiting, and then investors start seeing, okay, there is real results here, because I think it's still quite young, and so from the investor's standpoint, it looks quite risky because you don't have a lot of track records, you don't see a lot of companies that have done similar things, exiting or raising capital. And so it's a common question. We should find similar companies so that we can understand how much value are we looking for here. And it's sometimes very difficult or it's non-existent. And here I think the industry will leverage a lot in Portugal when we start seeing companies exiting both in Portugal or in Europe or in the United States doing similar things. I think we are just in that middle step where a lot of people are already raised, but still not a lot of exit. So we are just not yet there, but we are going there, definitely.
And for us, basically, it was a before and after because we learned a lot of concepts that we didn't know about them, and it was very useful to speak with investors and also to prepare the pitch. Of course, we didn't know about economics and business, so we needed a company to prepare the business plan. But the presentation was after the Bluebio Value was definitely useful to get that investment. The presentation we made with you.
So one of the things that you have also mentioned, besides the money, is the tech resources you can find in Portugal. The ability for you to produce or to research or to commercialize your product. So how do you see, besides investment, the Portuguese landscape evolving?
Well, certainly from my point of view, it was about research. And unfortunately, my cohort was on Zoom due to COVID. And I felt that it actually held me back a couple of years. I've only now got my samples this year. Now I'm confident, looking at the landscape in Portugal, I could have had this 2 years ago had I been able to travel, had I been able to work with the research labs. But it does go to prove that Portugal has it and they're way ahead of the game.
Well, in our specific case, all I can say is that we were part of the Bluebio Value program in November, and we're now in June, and we are still talking, for example, with the University of Aveiro, which we met through the program for some of our research and development processes. So I think that there definitely is the opportunity through Bluebio Value and within Portugal to actually find those research centers. I mentioned the CIMAR earlier, also more commercial entities, for example, A4F, with which we've been in contact after the program. We really are exposed to many different players, both academic and commercial, which you can leverage down the line to actually get value and help you to develop your product.
Yeah, and I would certainly reflect what Carlo has said, and in this sense, Portugal does punch well above its weight in terms of the capabilities. And I think as you were talking about earlier, the fact is that with time, through this program, there will become a critical mass of startups at various phases of the supply chains and delivery channels around us will actually create the momentum so that the sector is taken better notice of. It is seen to be more established, and therefore the money will come in. So I think this all links together. But likewise, we've had excellent links through Blue BioValue to University of Oviedo and others, which has been very, will be very important to us going forward.
Yes, what you mentioned is really is another very interesting point about Portugal, which is I think you're really, really good top level, world top level on doing research in the blue economy. But then translating that into the real economy is not that easy. And now with the implementation of the Blue BioValue program, which I totally support, actually you can make use of some startups, the winners, and not only because you can then be part of a major network where you can actually put the companies, the startups that are being developed in contact with the facilities that have the technology available to do that research, and then do the pilot project, whatever you need to do the research to actually find some things that you really need to upscale your project, your business. And this is really important because up until now, what I was looking to, actually to me, was like the research is absolutely amazing, really nice, very good papers published, but then translating that into the economy, not that much. But now, if you look into what the program is trying to do, is actually putting the companies in contact with the research facilities, and this is really important because actually people get to know what is it available for us to use. And well, the Blue Demo network from the Bluebio Alliance is also playing a major role on this matter.
Yeah, I agree with what you said. Definitely, Bluebio Value gave us contacts in the academia that have helped us during the development process. I think Portugal has a lot of technical expertise in this industry. Still, I think the main bottleneck is that as a private interviewer, our timelines are much shorter than from a research standpoint. So in research, usually you have much more time and you don't have to be so much hurry to get the deliverables. I think as a startup, we have much shorter time and we need to move fast. And sometimes these collides when you are trying to work with the academia. Not because, it's simply because both of them have different objectives. And so I think Portugal definitely has the technical expertise, but have to find a way how to better manage these work together. Yeah.
And I think the landscape of Portugal is very promising since with our 5 years of experience we have found more professionality in the suppliers, in the factories, they are more open-minded than in Spain, because what I said, we didn't find any university that wanted to work with us because of the alcohol thing, but we found it in Portugal. And also what we saw is that the Portuguese entities, the public Portuguese entities, understand the necessity of work fast, for us, because we don't have the time to wait 1 year for a study. So this is what we do.
Okay, just explain a little bit what João said. João talked about Blue Demo Network, and Blue Demo Network is one-shop place that all companies can have for moving their technologies ahead. So we will curate what your desires in terms of development and put you in connection with the best research institutes in Portugal to do so. That's Blue Demo Network, and it's one of the missions of Bluebio Alliance. So in the 5 minutes I have to ask you to some questions, my last one would be a very obvious one. So would you recommend, will you recommend Blue BioValue to other startups now that a new cohort will start this year?
Most definitely. Anybody with innovation in the ocean space definitely step forward because this is the program. And as was said earlier, as we see them coming through this 5-year program and we look at positive exits, this is where the attention is going to be.
Definitely, if you're in the blue tech space, if you work with some sort of ocean resource or ocean technology, and remember, you don't have to be based in Portugal to find value in Portugal and in the program. We are based in London. We're working with some Portuguese entities, but we have no official branch in Portugal. And I think that's something that we didn't quite mention in our panel, but really it is open to everyone and is a great opportunity, great people who organize it, and it really is a really well-structured program that I recommend to anyone.
Yes, we would definitely recommend it as well. I mean, there are lots of accelerator programs out there, but I think the Blue Bio Value one is unique for the blue economy. And so we had people coming all the way from Australia and India, as well as the rest of Europe and so on. The other thing which hasn't been mentioned is part of our potential value chain was actually found amongst our fellow participants, and we are already starting to collaborate with some of them from Italy and from Spain in things like grants and other potential, in our case, contributing to the circular economy value chain. So, bravo.
Well, it's a bit biased from my side, but okay, for sure. I would definitely recommend Blue Bio Value for sure. Well, I've been collaborating with it since the first edition. I've been a mentor on the program, so if you want a shortcut for the success, well, go ahead and try to apply for it.
It was the program that gave us the most systematic way to align our business development. They had like a kit where you have like the canvas and all of that stuff, and it was the best. And I've done another acceleration programs in other countries, and I can say this one is like the best. I never saw a better one.
Yeah, me too. We have participated in other accelerator programs and 1 year duration, and we learn in 2 months more than in 1 year duration in other programs.
So we are closing on our time. So if you want to know more about these startups, they will be around the entire conference. Most of them are in the Bluebio Alliance booth. If you want to know more about Bluebio Alliance and what we do and how we connect the dots between research, startups, and corporates, pass by our booth, Elizabeth, which is back there. We'll follow on every questions you have. And apply. If you have any doubts, apply to Blue Bio Value. Pass the word. That's the best we can ask from you. And to finish, I will ask Anna from Blue Ocean Foundation, as Felipe did, to fill us in on the role of this foundation in supporting Blue Bio Value. Thank you all. Thank you, Anna. We'll finish after Anna.
Thank you very much, Gonçalo. Hello to all. Welcome here to this session. And I would like to start by thanking Blue Bio Alliance for organizing as the scientific partner of Blue Bio Value this session, and also pitching what is I think the best ambassadors of the program that we launched together with Carlos Gulbenkian Foundation back in 2018. So our 6 startups. I think your solutions and also the openness that you've shown in regarding the challenges that you're facing, but also the opportunities that you found here in Portugal. I think they are the best ambassadors of the program, and so thank you very much for openly sharing them. And also, of course, thank you for the organization, One Sustainable Ocean, for putting together this amazing group of opportunities in the context of the blue economy. On behalf of Oceano Azul Foundation, I would like also to mention that we are ahead now of the 5th edition of our acceleration program, and so very soon you'll be learning about the new startups that will be joining the program for this year. And in general, we believe that the 5 years in which we've been showcasing this program, we have demonstrated 3 very important issues. First of all, which is how different and how large it is the spectrum of all of these solutions in terms of what the ocean can offer. We've seen from new inks to new biomaterials, to new foods, to new algae applications, to new aquaculture solutions. The spectrum of the applications of marine biotechnology are are a huge potential, and of course clearly demonstrate what the ocean can offer, and what also the ocean can offer in terms of the solutions that the society so much needs, from tackling pollution to tackling, of course, marine plastics, to encountering new solutions to a growing population, from food and new feed to, of course, also finding new solutions regarding new pharmaceuticals, new cosmetics, etc. The list is always vast, and we, the two foundations, together in the program, truly believe that we've been showcasing the potential that the ocean has in tackling some of these important missions that our society faces regarding the ocean, and how important it is the ocean that we so much care about, that we continue embedding it in our economy in a sustainable way, and of course taking care of the ocean that so much needs us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.